Have you ever noticed how calming the sound of the wind can be? Well, for babies, shushing is 100 times more soothing. A loud shush may seem rude to us, but in a baby's language it means, I love you, don't worry, everything is fine. It's a loud shush. And in fact, you shush as loud as the baby is crying, so that they can hear you. Otherwise, they don't even pay attention to what you're doing. Now let's watch some crying babies as I shush them. And watch their eyes. See if you can tell when the calming reflex gets switched on. The rapping itself does not calm him down.
No.
But now let's add some of the other S's. There are many types of strong white noise that work to settle fussy babies. Some parents use white noise machines. Some turn radios onto static in between stations, or they use the sounds of appliances like vacuums or hair dryers. Or better yet, use tape recordings of those sounds. You may think those sounds are too loud, but remember, in the uterus, the sound your baby heard was louder than a vacuum. Hair dryers can be especially loud, so if you're using one for more than a few minutes, turn it down or move it away at least 6 feet.
Unbelievable.
And the fourth S is swinging, or jiggly movement. Have you ever wondered why people call newborns bouncing baby boys and girls? It's because they love jiggly movement. Now you can see her head is jiggling a little bit. The head is like jello on a plate. I'm not holding her head and keeping it from jiggling. I want it to jiggle. That's what triggers the calming reflex. If you do this with big movements like this, it won't work. If you do it holding the head, it doesn't work well. The head has to be free to move a little bit.
I tried doing that today and I had trouble with it.
All of these things take practice. I mean, one thing is true. I mean, I've been doing this almost every day for the last 20 years. So I do have the techniques down. But having said that, they're not that complicated. It takes some practice, but you'll see that once you get the hang of it, it'll be completely natural for you. There's something called shaken baby syndrome, where the head is shaken so violently that the brains are shaken inside, and that can absolutely cause damage to a baby. They also call it whiplash syndrome, because the head is going back and forth so vigorously. The movement that I'm talking about is not shaking. It's jiggling. It's exactly the same motion that your baby felt inside the uterus. And you can do jiggly movement like this all day long, and it wouldn't hurt your baby. In fact, it's just the opposite. It makes him feel very comfortable, very relaxed, very much back at home. There's stimulation that's good stimulation, and there's stimulation that's overwhelming stimulation. The rhythmic, hypnotizing stimulation of the swing is good. It makes her feel good. It's nourishing for her. People often ask, will she get spoiled by it? Will she get used to it? And actually, she is used to it. She used to have it 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So now, if she only gets it 12 hours a day, you've already cut back 50%. And gradually, over the next couple of months, you'll decrease it even more. But I have no concern about spoiling her during these first 3 months, because fundamentally, she's still a fetus, and you can't spoil a fetus. This is called the milkshake position. For obvious reasons. This is a wonderful way of burping a baby. And I'm going to put my feet on the ground. They're about as far apart as my shoulders, and my knees are together. And I just move my knees back and forth. You can start by going slowly, and then you make it smaller and faster. My hands are open, and you can see her head just kind of jiggling between my two hands.
Right.
And if she gets upset, then you can pick up the speed and do it a little bit faster.
Okay.
And as she calms down, you can do it more slowly.
Okay.
I love this position because when it's 11 o'clock at night and you're exhausted, it takes very little energy. You're just kind of, you can be resting there and just your knees are going back and forth a little bit. It used to be that we had people in the home to help us, or neighbors would come over, and we didn't need mechanical devices like a swing. You would just pass your baby along to someone else and then you'd do your work. But we don't have that help today.
I personally have had to rock him the entire time, and I have to tell you, my arms are just about to fall off by the end of the day.
Babies are very sensitive to motion, and they love sleeping in the swing. But there are some things you have to know before you put your baby in the swing. First, the baby should be swaddled tightly. But let's put him in the swing, wrapped. And I'm going to put the little strap between his legs. You have to put it between his legs so that he doesn't slide through the hole. Second, you have to belt your baby into the seat so that she can't fall out. Third, the seat should be reclined all the way back. And fourth, you have to use the fast speed. The slow speed is not effective. That's the way swings work the best. When a baby is fussing when you put him or her in the swing, you grab the swing from behind and you jiggle it vigorously. This is the jello head jiggle. And his head is kind of going boing, 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 like that. Just like it felt inside of your tummy when you were walking up the stairs. And you do this for 10 seconds or so. And then once he settles down, you turn it on the fast speed.
You can already see his eyelids, kind of.
Did you notice that?
Yeah. Instantly, he started to calm. That's wonderful.
One other thing that you have to understand about swings, they're not meant for calming a crying baby. You have to calm your baby first and then put your baby in the swing. And the fifth S is sucking. Sucking is like the icing on the cake. It's the last S, but certainly not the least. Suckling your baby at the breast is one of nature's most powerful ways of calming a baby. But if you're not nursing, or when you need a break, there are a couple of good options ready for you and your baby. For example, you can offer her your finger, or you can give her a pacifier. Some babies take pacifiers easily, but some need a little bit of training. Once she starts to suck on the pacifier, I push down on it a little bit, like it's going to fall out of her mouth. I want her to think she's losing it. What is a baby's response? It's to suck harder. So many people think to get a baby to keep a pacifier, you push it and keep it in place. It's just the opposite. You use reverse psychology. The more you do that, the more her muscles will be trained to keep the pacifier in her mouth. When she's sucking, I'm just going to pull it back. But see how she can hold it in her mouth even when I'm trying to knock it out a little bit. Here are a few rules of pacifier use. If you're breastfeeding, don't give your baby a pacifier until the feeding is going really well. Never dip your baby's pacifier in honey or syrup. And don't hang it around your baby's neck. It's a choking hazard. As you practice the 5 S's, you may find that when your baby is really wailing, he may not be able to calm down with just 1 or 2 of the S's. Here, you'll notice that the calming isn't quite working with just the swaddling, swinging, and shushing. Some babies respond to the side or stomach position, and some respond to the swaddling the most. And some babies need it all, and they need it big. Here she's having all 5 of the S's at the same time. Some of my patients call this the cuddle cure because it works so well for fussy babies. When you're calming your baby, you're really dancing with him or her. And the more intensely she's crying, the more intense you are with your jiggling movements and your loud shushing. And then as your baby calms down,